Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Clear Your Path to New Beginnings with me, your host, Tory Sachs. So, today I want to talk to you guys about one of my other sessions and treatments, services that I offer here at the 203 Uptown. Actually, you can have it in person or virtually. It is crystal healing or facilitating healing through crystals and crystalline energy. But before I get started, I want to remind you that you can visit my website at torysachs.com to learn more about me, sign up for my website, and just get connected and find out all of the things. And also, I am not only a Reiki practitioner, like I said, today we're going to talk about the work I do with crystalline energy, but I also use sound, and I import extra virgin olive oil from this amazing place called Extremadura, Spain. All right, so let's get back to this week's episode. I'm really excited about this because I'm finally adding it to my website. It's something I've been doing for a minute, okay, let's be real here, guys. I love crystals. Do you see all my crystal bracelets? I know, it's a little insane, but they're like friends. So, so one of the things that I do is facilitate healing using crystalline energy. And I actually have two different services. One is something I call like the more active, which we'll talk about at a later time. But today we're going to specifically talk about the more passive. But anyway, so crystalline energy is amazing. Just something like you may not know about it. So this is a great episode to learn more about this ancient art and this modality. And just, like I said, I love crystals. They're my friends. They talk to me. I can just feel the different energy in them. I love them. So, and I hope you do too. So, because they can help in so many ways, and there's so many amazing benefits. So first off, I want to just like give a really quick foundation so that we make sure we're on the same page and I'm not talking over your head, because I really hope, I'm not doing that. And this is more like why I started this is to educate people and to help people on their path. That's why it's called Clear Your Path to New Beginnings, because I hope like wherever you are in your life, that you get new beginnings, and that this helps raise your vibration, your frequency, all the things. So let's get started. Crystals and crystalline energy, they come from Mother Earth and nature. They have a lot of earth energy, a lot of ground, well, not all of them, but grounding energy. But either way, crystals are coming to us from a higher vibration. So we have our vibration, and depending on where you are, like if you're really overwhelmed or in fear, sadness, grief, whatever, you may be vibrating at a lower vibration, and it's not as optimal as it would normally be for you than someone that's, in prosperity. They're happy, they're feeling joy, they're passionate, they're excited, they're full of life. It's very different. And you know what your optimum level is for you. And when you're not, maybe you're feeling heavier than normal and you just want to bring that lightness and brightness back into your life. So crystals are an amazing way to do that, and unlocking the crystalline energy. That's why some people, set them with intentions. I always ask them, help me unlock the energy that you have within yourself and help others, or help me, depending on how I'm working with it. But anyways, so crystals are at a higher vibration. They are always at a higher vibration and frequency than we are. And when you're working with crystals, it's one way that if you place them on the body, like I'm always wearing crystals on me, always. So if it's not like on my hands, maybe they're in a pocket, in my purse. This is probably I like to wear them in my bra. Just gonna be like really upfront and honest with you guys. I love crystals, and they love being on the skin. They love having that skin to skin contact with people. That's why, when you put them on you, sometimes they get stuck or they move around. But anyways, so when you're working with crystals, they're at a higher vibration than we are. But when you work with them, they are helping to raise your frequency and your vibration. So when you put them on you, when you wear them, it's actually raising your vibration, and they're helping raise it. So it's really important. Like here, I've got like this Amazonite. This is like one of the ones I work with when I'm working with people. Is clear quartz point activation to help activate things. You know, you can make crystal grids, all the things. So that's how you would work with crystals, and just like what they do when you're putting them on your body. When you're I mean, you could even just sit and hold one in your hand when you're meditating, or when you're sleeping, when you lay down and meditate. I like to lay down and meditate a lot when I do crystals on me, just because it helps me go deeper. Like if you want to work through something and you just ask them to help you. So like I said, I have 2 different treatments. I have, or sessions and offerings. I have one that is like what I call more active. It's more of like facilitating what I like to call a trip. And then, but today we're going to talk about the more passive one. And the great thing is when I'm facilitating a crystal healing session with someone, it's like I'm putting you, like with the help of the crystals and invoking that energy, I'm putting you in something similar to an hypnotic state. It's about connecting with yourself and the breath work, but it puts you in the state to then unlock various things where you can have a connection with your soul. You can go into a meditation. You could maybe like have a past life moment. You could work through a pattern. It's whatever you need to do between your intention, purpose, whatever you need to do to facilitate your healing in that moment is what the crystals will help with. And I never know which ones I'm going to place on the body and where I'm going to place them. And I don't use, sometimes I do, but I don't traditionally use the typical placements. So in crystal healing, there's more than the 7 chakras, and they are in alignment with different parts of the body, and typically with different crystals and stones. But I don't, you know, if I'm called to use something else, that's what I'm going to use, because that's what you need. So it's very similar. If you looked at my video about Reiki, it's very similar to a Reiki session, but at the same time, very different. Again, we're just going to take you from the abstract and make something a little bit more like tangible so you understand what I'm talking about. So, but like I said, so you come in, if it's an in-person session, you would come in and you tell me like, hey, what's the intention? Or maybe think to yourself what the intention is. And then from there, you would lay on the bed, on the blankets. You wouldn't go and lay under the sheets like you would for a Reiki, but you lay on the table, and we're in the room where all the magic happens, so you get to see that behind me. But you lay on the table, and typically, like with a session, I might use some essential oils. I might use flower essences. This time, of course, I'm using crystals. Sometimes I will cut cords, but I'm not always called to cut cords. The Reiki may come in if the Reiki wants to. I may use sound, but you'll lay on the table behind me on your back. Typically, sometimes I have had people lay on their stomach if that's an area we really need to work on, like if you're feeling pain or suffering or something, you know, different stones I would be called to use or resonate to use on you. And it's really like because of where you are in that place. There's certain stones where not everybody is equipped to work with yet or is ready to work with, but on a different day they might be, because the stones are very powerful. So you have to be aware of what people are ready and what they're ready to release. So really, it's being open and willing to be open to receive. So you get on the table. I always read, but in all my sessions, I always read something just to kind of like get us grounded. And it's always something that is meant for you. It's not meant for me. So I just flip to a page out of my readings, and then I read that to you, and then I always sage in Palo Santo because that's what I use as my 1-2 punch. So if you want to learn more, go check out those videos. Really important about like what is your 1-2 punch, how to figure out what works for you and why sage is not enough. But like I will sage you and then I'll Palo Santo you so that I make sure that I cleanse all your bodies, your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual bodies, because I want to make sure everything is really in a good spot. And then I use the Palo Santo to bring in that goodness, positivity back into your life. So I do that, and then, you know, I come in and I'm like, hey, let's get you grounded into the bed. You might smell something. There might be something you need to listen to. From there, I will call in the guides, all your guides, all my guides, if there's anyone special that you want to get called in. And then from there, I will, what I like to call is just put this layer of protection around the session and you and the space. And then from there, I will start intuitively laying stones on the body. So wherever I am called to lay stones on the body, and whichever stones, it's never the same. Although there are like some of the ones I always use. Like I'm always probably pulling in some selenite or some rose quartz, maybe some black tourmaline, clear quartz. I mean, those are all amazing stones to help. And I'm also working in the auric field. So I'm not just working on the body, but I'm working in the auric field. So I start laying stones on the body, like literally placing them different places, you know, brow, it could be here, it could be the throat, you know, the heart chakra, the chest. So really depending where it needs to be. And like I said, in the auric field, if I need to place stones around the room because your aura is being affected by things and what's going on in your body, or maybe something came in that doesn't belong to you, or you've outgrown some energy and you're ready to remove and release it. So then I'm placing stones on the body, and I'm always checking in with you. I'm looking at the breath. I'm needing to know, like, hey, how is this intensity? Is something too intense? Are you feeling cold? And then from there, with a more passive crystal healing treatment, it's really about you going internal and taking time for you and letting the crystals do what they need. Like, so while I'm in session, I'm always activating with my pointer, this guy. I'm always activating with the crystal to unlock the healing power and unlock the crystalline energy. And like I said, I may need to hum or use sound or throw in some Reiki while you're in a crystal healing. And so I do that, and you're pretty much on the bed, like having these nice juicy crystals on you for about an hour, because I really believe like you need that with the crystals. And then from there, if you're in person, I will ask if you want to see what I placed on you. So I'd bring the mirror and you'd open your eyes from the washcloth, and then I show you, and then from there I have you do some breathing as they take the crystals off and just remove what no longer serves you. And then from there, I take all the crystals off, and we close, like I close every session, with 2 card pulls. So one is just a closeout session, and one is for you to have a little remembrance about session. And then if there's something that you learned from your session that you want to know more about, or like maybe there was a crystal that like it really resonated, the placement, or you felt something, maybe that's like a call for you to use that more in your everyday life, connect with that crystal, or maybe it was just trying to tell you something. And then typically we just discuss that a little bit so that you figure out what you can do as a reminder for the session, so that it's not just like a one and done, like, okay, that was a cool thing I did, but like I don't need to like have any moments from that, because at the end of the day, like after For all healing, it's like you wanna remember and have that token so you don't just like relapse or go back into like bad behaviors or being stuck. So it could be like, and these are just examples, like going out in nature and connecting with nature, or meditating with a certain stone, or doing something because you experienced that during your healing. And so from there, I take notes in a crystal healing. I don't do that in a Reiki, but I take notes, and then I take those notes and I email them to you. So you know, like, hey, what your intention, like you just have all of that information, because sometimes you may not remember things, or that happened a while ago or whatever, and it's a way for you to refer back. And that way you also know what stones I was called to use in those placements. So you get that, and that's how the session ends. And that's typically the way it is for an in-person and for a Zoom virtual session. They're pretty much identical. The only difference is that when you're on the Zoom or virtual or WhatsApp, whatever vehicle we end up deciding to use, I primarily use Zoom, but whatever we use, it's recommended to be in a comfortable place. So like, again, the couch, a bed, you could even be in your car. I've had people do it in your car. And so you're in a quiet, comfortable place where you can go internal for this crystal healing, this facilitating of crystalline energy. And I'm still bringing in all the things I would bring in, and you'd still feel it because the portal is open. And I can say that too because I went through crystal healing in my training. I went through virtual crystal healing. So we performed on other people and they weren't there. And it was I can tell you I've gone on some really powerful crystal healing adventures. You would not, like, I would still take pictures of the bed, but I wouldn't show you, like, because I still use the bed to place crystals with you being in a virtual, but you wouldn't necessarily, I wouldn't show you like with the mirror like I would with the in-person, but you still get the notes. I always, like, so if you're a virtual and we do a card pull, I always send that card pull as well. So you get that too. So yeah, that is all about what I like to call a more passive meditative facilitation of crystal healing, one of the services I offer. And if you would like to know more information about me, check out my website. It's www.torysaks.com. That's TORYSAKS.com to learn more. I am a Reiki practitioner. I facilitate healing with crystalline energy and sound, and I also import extra virgin olive oil from Extremadura, Spain. So with that, I will close. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you feel lighter and brighter and more excited about life, and I hope that you clear your path to new beginnings.